3, 2, 1, and...
Was that a good one? Good evening, everyone. You're listening to the Intimacy Chronicles. I am your host, Queen Jackie. We're going to start to my right today.
Is it your right or my left? Or...
My right.
She's always right.
I'm always right.
She's always right.
And the problem.
Simple, a.k.a. the Quiet Storm.
Okay, and to my left, far left.
Oh, that's me?
I think so.
Okay, well, it's me.
And our superstar to my left.
That would be you.
I mean, really.
Hello, all you out there in TV land.
Just saying. Hi, Rebecca.
What's happening? It's your boy, Dr. Love.
So last week was our Halloween edition, and somebody, I'm not calling names, but someone was kind of into himself.
That sounds suggestive.
Do you know who that was? I mean, he was just so in character that he was distracted, you know. And I got to give him props because nobody could pull off Rick Ross as my co-host.
I think you might have given it away.
Huh? Yeah, he was definitely that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
He broke the internet.
He broke the internet.
Broke it. It was fun. It was fun to be the infamous boss Rick Ross. But then when I got here, we seen the sexy zebra. I mean, she went above and beyond, like painted her face like I thought I was looking at some Lion King shit,
Oh my God.
Then we had the Flash in here.
Oh yeah.
We had the Flash in here.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the other two guys was, but
themselves.
Themselves. But we really enjoyed it. I know last year was kind of like a mediocre kind of.
Yeah, because you came as Mickey. You had the Musketeer
Mickey
ears.
Mouse security.
Right.
So it really wasn't like a well thought kind of costume or whatever. Because you was Harley Quinn.
I was.
Harley Quinn.
Good thing you weren't.
A clown. Look like a clown to me.
Good thing you weren't here.
Yeah. Because you would have been freaked out the whole damn night.
I saw it. I looked at it.
He said, "Oh my God." Nate was like, "Oh, Richard's gonna get you."
I said that.
Yeah,
I said that.
Really, a clown.
This was approximately 10 minutes before you said something.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh man, I ain't even think about it."
It ain't that serious. I mean, but it's just.
It is serious.
Clowns, man. I just never like clowns.
Okay.
It is serious.
Let's see.
Because the gifts I sent you, you was real freaking out.
Oh my God.
You was freaking out talking about really, man, really.
The things we share with each other on this show, we're pretty open-minded with one another. We're kind of family here, so there's no telling what we may share with one another. The clown thing,
or what we may do.
I mean, everybody knows I like to dress up, so I don't need a holiday in order for me to do that. You never know what I might come in here as. I do have a thing for clowns, though. I mean, I know you don't like them, but it's something sexy about it,
Are you serious?
Don't
What's sexy
freaking
about a
judge
clown?
me. The makeup.
Nah. The one with the big cheeseburgers in there.
See,
See, that's not attractive to me.
It is to me.
She's over there talking about, yeah, them clowns got big feet.
You know what they say about big feet,
Yeah.
so I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know what they say about big feet.
It's a myth, believe me.
I was gonna say
No
big
shade,
shoes.
no shade, but that shit is not
I was
true.
gonna say big shoes. Big feet means big shoes.
So if anybody who didn't see the telecast last week, go on YouTube. You'll see Jackie and you'll see Mr. Nate in full costume.
In full costume. He was in her. He was,
pulled it off. Nate
yeah,
pulled
he
off Rick
definitely
Ross.
did.
It
He
was like,
should have won, contest or something.
yeah, I think Rick Ross dressed like Nate, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Oh, man.
funny. It's interesting because the characters were getting confused. I mean, Rick Ross was referring to.
There
he
you
was
go.
referring to Big Nate. Yeah, I had heard something like that happen to Big Nate. And I thought that was funny. So.
Yeah, because it didn't happen to Rick Ross. It didn't happen to Rick Ross. But those who missed my Halloween costume, just go look at the tape before this one, and you'll see it. You'll see it. So really have fun.
Yeah,
I
sometimes that's what it's all about.
Really
Just
have fun.
having a good time during the show, because you never know what we may come in.
Yeah.
I said that dress up was mandatory, but there's always that one that just needs a good tongue lashing after the show for not being committed, because it's not like I didn't say this 2 weeks before. But I'm just saying. Anywho, tonight the guys are in charge, so I don't know what they came prepared to discuss. I wasn't supposed to be here, but plans changed. So, what's on your mind, fellas?
She's like a bag of Lay's. You just can't eat just one.
Everything
Just can't eat just one.
Yeah.
I was waiting. I was like, where you going? Where you going?
Yeah. Not you. I can expect it from her. Not you.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes it's like that. Like, okay, where we going with this? But yeah, what's on your mind tonight, fellas?
You know what? I have an idea. Why not we ask our listeners? Let them give us a topic.
Okay.
Let anybody out there, what would you all like for us to talk about?
Who's online? Can you see who's online?
Yeah, I can see a lot of people online. We have James Lancaster's
Hey,
online.
what's up, James?
Hey, James.
We got Richard Semper's online.
That
that's you.
clown, that
Oh, yeah.
clown's online.
Yeah, that one. We got Sharita online.
Okay.
Hey, Rita.
Sharita.
We got Angela online. Rashina's online.
Hey, Rashina.
Well, you know she's going to have something to talk about. We got Larry online.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate everyone who's joining in with us on tonight. So those of you who are out here listening, give us a topic. Something that may be going on in your life, in a relationship, and you want us to help you work it out. Because you know that's how we do. We work shit out.
So I have Rebecca and Sherelle on right now. So ladies, do you have a topic of interest that you'd like to discuss tonight? While you all are thinking about this, so I celebrated my anniversary this weekend.
We gotta give a little shout out.
We had a great time.
November's a good month.
Yeah, November's a good month. Definitely a great time. Cocktails, other activities.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
And
I was a little glossy.
don't forget November 9th.
Your birthday.
A legend was born.
Oh, thank you. But that wasn't my birthday.
Wow!
Shots
Now
fired.
close that door. You should have never walked through.
I know. So strong, but don't come
Yeah.
So,
Close that door.
Since Rick Ross came to the party late last week, the beginning of the show, we actually discussed child support. And it was piggybacking from the show at Corinthians, because it seemed like dude had an attitude about child support. Do you remember when we were talking about that and we were going back and forth and I watched that and I said that I wanted to actually discuss child support because it seemed like so many men are angry at being taken to child support. But again, I have to say, when you make that decision to sleep with somebody with no protection, it is a possibility that there is going to be conception or an STD. I mean, that's the risk that you run. And I'm not going to say that every woman takes a man to child support. I know that in some cases women are vindictive and decide I'm going to take you to child support. I think also there's probably maybe a lack of communication between the two, and maybe they feel like I don't have a choice but to take them to child support. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, from my experiences, and I'm talking about friends and people that I know. I know a few guys who got off pretty easy.
Yeah.
Whether they're not paying or worked out an arrangement,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've seen situations where the female had to take them downtown, or for lack of a better word. So
Right.
it goes both ways. But
I agree.
I think from what I remember, the guy I tried to sift through the delivery. Delivery was kind of all over the place.
It was all over the place.
But one of the things that he said was an interesting point and topic. He said if even though both parties agreed to have sex without protection and conceive a child, he said one thing that he said is a lot of times the decision is up to have the child is up to the female.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where he made a point where the male doesn't have much say or much say in that matter. And then he said, he made another point where he said, if, let's say the couple is not financially able to support the child, a single woman could get assistance from the government. The man gets punitive action done against him.
Okay, I gotta read this comment from Too Driven to Quit. I'm a woman who hasn't put my ex on support, and I'm not. Some people need it, but I believe you can't make a man do what he knows he should do. And I completely agree. I think that I think it seemed to me what he was saying was that that's something that all women do. And that's not the case. I think in a lot of cases it's because maybe she feels like she's not getting the help from that man. Because no matter what,
some instance, right?
that's why I said that.
Yeah.
But no matter what, that child is with us 24/7. So I think that we shouldn't have to take you downtown. But if you are not trying to work with us, it's kind of like downtown. Maybe in a lot of cases might be a last resort. I do know that there are some women that do it out of spite. Perhaps because he's moved on with his life and they thought that the child could, keep him, and that's not the case. I think to take a man downtown because of spite, even if he's, and he's providing, I think that that's not a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
But I think, again, it depends on the circumstances. As you mentioned, some men get off easy.
Yeah. But what do you think about his comment when he said, because you have a situation if a woman can't, she gets help. Where the man, but he was talking more so, and I don't want to say black, white, or anything like that. He was talking more, but of course he was talking more so from the black community perspective. But when a man can't or won't, there's punitive action.
When you say get help, like financial assistance,
public assistance.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with that because I know a few single dads that are getting assistance.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what he's referring to, but I know a couple of men that have custody of their children.
Yeah, but I'm talking. If a man doesn't pay child support, or he will get his license revoked, isn't it?
But I think the only way you get your license revoked if you're not paying anything. They're just not coming after your ass and taking your license.
Okay.
That's for an individual that's so far behind, and I guess it's a last resort for the government. I'll take your license since you're not paying child support. It's not something that's automatic.
Okay.
That's only when you're behind.
Yeah, and that's the thing about him. He was saying, he was saying a lot of stuff. And
He was angry.
He was dropping facts, and he was using a lot of conviction.
Mm-hmm.
So automatically you would believe and say, "Oh yeah, that's true." But some of the stuff needed to be verified too.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. If that is the case, so his perspective was the system works negatively or it does not work in favor of the man.
Yeah, and to be fair, back in the day, I mean, hell, I think we were all grown, and just to say how great of records that child support used to keep back in the day, well, they were coming after my dad for grown children. Mm-hmm. So we actually had to go there in person and show records of, everything that he did, and they owed him money. So you have to stay on top of them because it's your responsibility, and they make mistakes.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're not questioning what they're billing you, they could say you owe anything. So once we went down there and straightened that out, because there's no reason he should have been paying on grown-ass children. So they were taking his taxes and everything, but they had to give him all that money back. They owed my father $27,000.
That's one of the few situations where I heard it worked out.
But you have to, because like I said, they make mistakes, and it's your responsibility to keep up with your arrearage. Mm-hmm. I don't think that you're likely to have as many problems as long as you keep records and you pay your shit on time. So, what you have to say on that?
There's a lot I can say, because I'm paying now. But let me get these questions off. So, Machina says, so if you have a man that pays child support, mm-hmm. but every conversation he makes you feel bad about paying, saying he can't survive and you need to lower it, what do you do?
Well, I think every situation is different. I guess the both of you can come to some kind of agreement, and maybe petition the court to revisit the case.
And James says, from my experience, I've never been behind. I told them, if you're going to do that, do it now. Do not do it 2 years down the road.
Right.
Excuse me, I overpaid, which you cannot put a price on a child. Mm-hmm. They started sending, they started sending me checks.
Because he overpaid. Right, yeah.
See, those are the first two instances I've ever heard where somebody overpaid and they got their money back.
Yeah.
So, I'm not...
All you have to do is show them their error. And they really don't have a choice but to, refund you your money. I think that getting back to that situation, extreme cases are when they're taking your license because you're behind. Mm-hmm. To me, I feel like maybe it's their way of saying, okay, this is the only way we can get your attention.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, that clears some things up.
Yeah.
And another thing he was saying that kind of stuck with me, which what I interpret, well, let me put it out there. And it's a kind of controversial subject with a woman and a man. Okay. I believe, and I think it's, well, what are your thoughts on the belief that when it comes to unprotected sex, women are the gatekeepers? You're in a relationship, mm-hmm. and you're dating, and you're putting on a condom, and then the woman pretty much agrees whether or not you're going to have unprotected sex. And I don't know if I'm saying it right or if
you're saying it right.
But normally it's the woman that says it's okay.
But
or agrees.
Now here's the
Now,
point
I
that
don't
he
know
kept.
how it happened that way,
Yeah.
but it's sort of, and I thought it made me think back of every situation. There's been situations where, and I'm thinking, there's been situations where I'll say, no, not yet, or, but it's always been, they're the gatekeepers,
Mm-hmm.
And what's your thoughts on that?
I agree with that. However, I think that when both parties decide that they're going to have unprotected sex, and let's say whatever happens, we are both in this together.
Right.
However, if I get pregnant and we have a discussion about that, and your suggestion is, well, I think you should abort that baby. This is my body. I think that no man has a right to tell a woman what to do with her body.
And that's
which was his argument.
Yeah, that's right.
We're in it together until conception.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we can talk about it. I think as a woman, I think it's unfair for me to just make the decision on my own. I think that's a long conversation.
Some women make the decision.
But that's true
Because they
they
know
wanna,
that
they
the
want to
guy's
hold on
not
to
going to be there.
Yeah.
So they feel like they're not trying to raise no child by themselves.
Make
Right.
a decision to do what?
Huh?
What
To
decision?
abort the child.
To abort the child. Okay. And yeah, it's you make the decision together, but the woman normally has veto power.
We do have veto power because it's our body. But let me say this regarding abortion, because I think sometimes men don't understand the effects that abortion has on the body. Oftentimes when women decide to have an abortion and then they're ready to have a baby, they begin to experience complications from that abortion.
And then it's emotional.
It's exactly. So it's insensitive to
yeah.
say, I think you should abort that child.
Right.
When we were in the mix, you wasn't thinking on that term, but you knew it was a reality that it could happen. So I got the point that he was making. However, we both decided to have unprotected sex.
That's not why. Eventually, you're right. You both decide, because even if the woman is the gatekeeper, even if the woman says, okay, let's not have protected sex, I want to feel more intimate, or whatever the case may be. It's still, the man has to still
Feel more
has
intimate.
the man
Well,
still
but
has
when does it
veto power when
I was gonna say, when does the man take responsibility too?
and for what?
Okay, if
You
I
take
say,
responsibility for everything.
listen, if I say yes, we can have unprotected sex. Are you so much into your dick that you can't say, well, no, let me put a condom on?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what the man has. The man has the right to say, no, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, exactly.
However,
But don't get mad, when the consequences come, not just pregnancy, you might get an STD. So, yeah, that's the risk that you take.
Well, as far as child support is concerned, it's the whole system is just messed up, because child support is not designed to be a help. Child support could give a damn if you're a good father or if you're a good mother. They want their money. See, people don't know that. See, child support get a fee because they go through all of this, to get the money from the mother or the father.
Processing fee,
Well, it's not just that. For
because
those women that's getting public assistance, some of that money goes towards paying the state back for the public assistance that those women are getting.
So I watched my father be on child support when I was coming up, and I know because I used to run to the mailbox and get the checks. But it was something that I felt like once I got older, I didn't want to have to experience.
Mm-hmm.
And with my child's mother, we had this conversation. This is way before my daughter. And so the first thing she said to me was, well, you don't have to worry about that because I don't believe in someone else taking care of my child. This is what was told to me. I don't believe in someone else taking care of my child. Anything that you don't do, it'll get done. Now, that wasn't a green light for me to say, oh, okay, well, fuck it. No. So once we had our child, and she saw the cost of, what it was costing us all, the daycare and all that stuff or whatever. Yeah. Now, mind you, it wasn't something that I just allowed her to do, and I just stepped back. Okay, what we need to do in order to have somebody watch our daughter. Because
you were co-parenting.
Right, because you work, right. I work, somebody got to watch her.
Right.
So when she started seeing what it was costing to, have someone watch our daughter, instead of her, because see, this is the thing that this is the part that I don't understand, is that if you and a man, y'all have a baby together, y'all should be able to make decisions together. Y'all both grown people. You make decisions together. So she chose to make the decision to go get daycare vouchers. Well, for those who don't know, some of y'all do know, that when you get daycare vouchers, you got to put the daddy or the mama on child support. You got to.
Say you don't know who he is.
You got to. Well, she didn't do that. She knew exactly who I was. But the thing about it is, so I get a letter in the mail talking about child support. And her remark was that the reason why I did it is because I needed daycare vouchers. The daycare vouchers are going to help out with the daycare. Okay, no problem, fine. So when we go down there to child support, we sitting together in front of this woman. She tells me how much I have to pay. No problem. I can deal with that. No problem. But then before we're about to leave, the woman says, is there daycare involved? My child's mother hollered out, yes. So
what was your relationship with that? Were y'all still cool?
We was cool.
Cordial?
It was cordial. You know what I'm saying? She would come over the house or whatever, spend the night or whatever. Okay. So it wasn't like I'm not speaking to you kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. Everything was still cordial. If whatever my daughter needed, she got.
So no resentment or animosity at that point.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So I never said nothing about abortion. Let me put that out there. I never brought up nothing about abortion, period. You feel what I'm saying? So when the woman says, is there daycare involved, she hollers out, yes. The city taxed on another $200. Another $200 for daycare. Now, mind you, now I'm saying to myself, okay, now I got this total on my head. Any other father would be like, you know what? You got that? That's all you get. You work with that. Not me. Whatever my daughter needed, whether it was for school, Christmas, birthday, whatever, she got it. Still took out to eat. Turn around, brought her stuff or whatever. These are the things that child support don't see. Now, child support, they ain't going to come out and tell you, but they're basically saying, listen, whatever we tell you, you got to pay. That's what you got to pay. Anything you do afterwards, it's on you. You already paid what we are asking for you to pay. Right. And at that point, you're now allowing the someone else, I'll say the government, to dictate your relationship between you and your spouse and you and your child. Because, child support can go deep. Sometimes child support can go where it's visitations, and all that. I have a good relationship with my daughter's mother. I still do for my daughter whenever my daughter needs and stuff like that. But I really feel that child support is a backstabbing motherfucker. Because y'all go. Here's the thing. I know a girl right now. Her baby daddy ain't paid child support since he been on it. He's in the rear. I know she said probably about 45 grand, 50 grand.
Does he have a license?
No.
They took it?
I don't even know if they took it or not.
Okay.
But he's driving illegally.
Oh, well,
you know what I'm saying?
They probably took it.
But here's the thing. Now, I fell a little short when I had that accident with the job. Where I fell behind. Child support sends me a letter talking about they're going to suspend my license if I don't make a payment. Now, I'm only...
Say that again, because that's what I was telling you. It has to be if they're behind, then they threaten to take their license.
Yeah. If you are supposed to pay a certain amount every month, and let's say 3-4 months go by, and you don't pay nothing, now you're getting a letter.
Well, let me ask you this: is there a situation where your ex could appeal and say, you know what, no, let's not move forward with this? Does she have can she stop that?
Let me tell you the funny. I'm glad you said that. Let me tell you the funny part to the story. What she said to me, first of all, when you told me you would never take me to child support, that was a lie. I'm just putting it out there.
You had to bring that up. Okay.
That was a lie.
You had some edge in this voice.
Second of all, when you said to me, well, if I don't get approved for the vouchers, I might as well take you off child support. That's the only reason why I put you on, just to get the vouchers. So if I don't get the vouchers, I might as well take you off. Okay.
But I don't think they can.
Didn't get the vouchers because she make too much money.
Right.
I look, I'm still on child support. So I said, thought you was gonna take me off of child support. If you got denied the vouchers. Cause you know what, it ain't like I'm a deadbeat dad. If you call me and say, Naj, you need this, okay, I'm gonna either say two things. Either I'm gonna bring it tomorrow or give me some time to work on it and I'll get it done. But you said to me, well, the reason why I left you on is because I ain't felt like I wanted to chase you for money. Come on now. Like, there are dads out here that work hard and they love their kids and they put on child support out of spite.
And that's true.
Out of spite. And they still taking care of their kids. They still spending time with them when they can. And these some of these mothers sit behind that check and ain't working.
Yeah.
I know women right now that's getting child support working. They're getting child support and they're working, right? But they still struggling to meet ends meet. And the daddy ain't even spending that much time with the kids. One day out of a week.
Yeah, I mean, how much money can you put on time and you know what? That's the thing about it. And yep, you're right. The system can't measure everything. I guess what the system is trying to do is, why did it come to that? Because historically, there's been for brothers throughout the years, you know, that didn't step up to the plate like you did. Now your situation like you're not just working up to the task, you're working beyond the task.
Right.
And you still getting caught up in the wash.
But let me tell you this. This is the part I don't understand. Part I don't understand is, why is it that child support come after a guy like myself?
You on Instagram?
Yeah.
Child support comes after a guy like myself who's only in the rear, I say, about 1,900. You will come
only 1900.
Only 19. Because I fell behind a little bit because of these double accidents I had. So I'm only behind about 19. You will come after me. You'll send threatening letters the whole 9 yards. But a motherfucker who owe you 50 grand, you mean to tell me y'all can't find him? Well, that's some bullshit.
I think some men have a way of ducking the hell out of child support now. I mean,
let me know how you duck child support. I mean, I know I'm big and I can bob and weave, but god damn.
But I'm gonna read Donna's comment. She say, how about the men that ask to be put on child support when the mother didn't request it and still get petty with it.
Oh, damn.
Well, if you, first of all, for a man to say, put me on child support, you already know what you said out your mouth. You already know what's getting ready to happen. Two things going to happen. Either you can deal with it every month because you know what your income is, or you saying it to be Mr. Big Shot.
I don't think it's that. I think that
No,
sometimes they
they're
will
standing
take
to be
their
Mr. Big Shot.
No, I disagree with you. I think
right.
they feel like they will take their chances with child support because that mother might try to stick it to their asses. And also, let me just say this. Child support is not just about the money. Sometimes it is about protecting the father's right as well.
Yeah.
When that woman decides, or you can't see your child, that man has a right to petition child support for visitation and joint custody. So it's not just a monetary thing. It's to protect the dad's right too.
Tyrese.
Donna said, get out your feelings.
Who said that?
Donna.
Donna said, get out my...
Yeah, man, because you done got hype
around
on that.
Girl.
Donna, let me tell you like this, sweetheart. I've been paying child support since my daughter been 8 months.
So you are in your feelings.
8 months. And I'm in my feelings. And I'm going to tell you why I'm in my
just
feelings.
wanted to get that
No, because I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to tell you why I'm in my feelings. Because the city taxed on an extra $200 for daycare. And my daughter has not been in one daycare since I've been on child support. And my daughter's getting ready to turn 11 next month.
Let me ask you a question. And at what point did you petition child support to provide documentation to show that she's not in daycare? When did you do that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. There has been some people that said something to me about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you're a man and you're on child support and the waters are calm, sometimes you don't want to rock the waters. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing about that's a situation anybody could get caught up in that.
Yeah.
Where, you know, we're not educated. We don't know about petitioning. We don't know about this. You know, because me personally, if I'm ever in that situation, I would probably say the same thing. Take me downtown, put me on record as paying child support, because, you know, I've seen in situations where, you know, like I have a close family member who, he was paying off the books, right? She took him downtown anyway. When she went downtown, he was petitioned to pay less than he was paying.
Exactly, and
so,
yeah,
you know, it's
I know cases
but
like that too.
But to be honest, you know, I mean, I don't know what the percentage is. I don't know what it is, but I would say take me down to child support.
Yeah.
Or in a certain, and so that we could go on record. We can have receipts. We could have transactions, and you know, let me know what my basic minimum is.
Right.
And like you, Nate, you know, if you want to go above and beyond, you go above and beyond. But I think the problem is we as men, we're not educated about what our rights are, what I can't do. I'm asking all these questions. I'm like, damn, that don't sound right.
Right.
Is there a petition? I mean, people appeal everything else.
There are.
You know,
there are. You
process.
have rights. I think men get so caught up in the financial aspect of child support, but it's a system in place to help protect your rights too. But if you are not taking the time out to read up on this shit for yourself, then honestly, whatever they throw your way, you kind of deserve it for being lazy. It's put in place to protect your rights as a father as well.
Okay, so Donna says she didn't ask her ex-husband for a dime, but he got cute and told the judge he'll pay child support. So they stuck it to his ass, and now he's backpedaling.
Damn.
So he probably didn't expect as much.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
And that could be, you know, that
happens too. Yeah,
you know,
that happens too.
And that's especially if it's a situation with multiple kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So,
but you have to know your rights. You definitely have to be proactive.
But I think in a lot of these situations, there is, you know, everybody gets along. People, like I said, when relationships, there's love, there's hate, there's this, but people don't realize finances causes animosity in a relationship as well.
Definitely.
People underestimate that. Not just dishonesty and this and that and that, but finances. And I've seen in a situation where a friend of mine, when she got divorced, they were working out the divorce proceedings and everything was, you know, who gets the house, who get
Right.
that. Next thing you know, they didn't agree on finances. That's when the War of the Roses happened.
Jeez.
Yeah. And that's
And
when,
it happens when
that's
it
when-
comes down to that money. That's when you see people change
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me see.
Finances-
Let me read a couple of these. So James says it's a damn shame. I can come on everything, but I've been through that too, and I'm being honest. She said I'm not going to have all these babies. We was not together. I understand. I respect that. He also says, say the system, they will always try to dictate to you how to raise yours. That should not be. Angel says, yes, she can. She can go to the court, pay the fee, and they will stop it.
That's for your $200 on. We got some legal advice from Angel. Thank you, Angel.
Yeah. Billy says, I paid out of the kindness of my heart to the court.
Mm-hmm.
I was stopped being able to see my daughter, and I stopped paying to the court. They threw everything I paid out the window and hit me with errors from when she filed.
Wow.
He says, as I a paying father will never not pay or not want to pay, but a fair amount is all I ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Angel says they say that, thinking she won't do it, but when she does, shaking my head.
Yeah. And
What's
that's
done?
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
A lot of times, like I said, when people, it's the finances people don't agree with.
Yeah.
I think every man, every decent man, semi-decent man, is going to agree with the concept of support.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual support numbers, because then it puts him in a financial. Now he's used to a certain lifestyle. Now he has to take it down a notch.
He has to
And
take it
nobody wants
down a notch. However, there's a child
Yeah.
in the mix. Are you thinking about that beforehand?
Before sex.
Yes.
Okay, now we're taking it back to that.
We
Yeah.
have to take it back to that because
who talks about all the details? I mean, when you
Well,
when you're in a
nobody
happy
does.
I
relationship,
did.
But the thing is,
you know, I can't
that's
believe
a
because
rare
when you're in a
thing.
happy relationship and
Yeah.
we all hunky dory. I'm not trying to talk about if we have a child and
If I fertilize this egg,
yeah,
we got to start talking finances.
Listen,
Who's
let
saying
me
that?
tell you.
based on the assumption that it's not going to work out,
Right.
and we're going to talk about
Exactly.
whether or not you're
Let
going to
me tell you where it came in at, and Jackie hit it, and I didn't even say anything.
I want you to
'Cause I
talk
was
about if I could hit it from the back or not.
Huh?
I'll say during when
We're
everything
not
was-
entertaining that.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Anyway, but so here was the situation. The situation is that before she got pregnant, everything was fine. When she got pregnant, everything was still fine until the conversation of me moving in came into play. And at first I said, okay, fine, we'll all be together.
Mm-hmm.
But, let me know if I'm wrong, because of two situations that I had dealt with a woman where, when you live with a woman and they get that attitude, the first thing they say is,
Get out.
get the fuck out. So
I
was done with that. My thing was, once I said, no, I don't think that this is, you know what I'm saying? Because you got an apartment, and at that point I was renting a room. So I figured if we're going to do anything, let's get an apartment with both of our names or a house with both of our names on it because we're doing this together.
Mhm.
When I said I didn't want to move in, that's when shit started going downhill. So I said. So she said.
Why do you think that happened? I mean,
Because she was in her feelings and she wanted me to move in.
Why?
Because she wanted a family.
Well, you could have had a family. I mean, it sounds like you gave her another option that was where y'all could move in together somewhere different.
Here's the thing. she wasn't trying to give up her place.
Okay.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
She wasn't trying to give up her
She wanted
place.
the upper hand, basically.
She wanted me to move. This was her word. The money you paying where you stand, you could be
giving it to you.
Paying here.
Yeah.
Okay. Control.
There's there's no boo-boo cross here. You know what I'm saying? So,
listen, I mean, y'all weren't ready for that kind of commitment anyway.
No.
You can't trust in that. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing. She said to me, she says, well, I said, well, let's talk about the finances.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what is it that you need from me every month? This is way before child support.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you need from me every month? Because mind you, I'm already buying diapers up the ass.
Right.
I'm already buying that fucking can of formula that stands about this fucking tall, Infamil, this fat, and the motherfucker was $14.90 something, $15 a can.
Stick a titty in her
$30
mouth.
for 2 cans. Now, mind you.
Yeah, that could have saved you a lot of money that she breastfed.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, I think there was something going on with her body where she couldn't breastfeed.
Yeah, some women can't.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would have loved to, got the process started.
You ruined it, man. You ruined it.
No,
You sucked on her boobs too hard and she couldn't.
Maybe up there. I got next.
Okay. She couldn't do it.
I got next.
But I said, how much do you need? She said, $200. I said, okay, fine. I can do that. If that's what you want, I can do it.
Right.
Didn't even give me a chance, Queen. Didn't even give me a chance to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know why? She had already put the papers in. But there's no way you ask me one week what you need from me, and then the next week I get the papers in the mail.
Based on that, y'all wasn't ready to move in together because it would have been war to roses, man.
Yeah.
And that's tough. Because when you have mistrust like that, or when you have betrayal, or that, then resentment kicks in, and it's tough, man. I mean.
Now Donna says, I never asked for a modification in over 6 years, and as soon as our daughter turned 18, he requested a modification. We now have a 16-year-old, and the judge tripled his order, and now he's appealing. Men have to take ownership and strap up. Yeah, I kind of think that's the bottom line. I mean,
no, see, I don't completely agree with
I'm
that.
not going. What I'm going to say is both parties. Of course, you all have the dicks. Both parties have a responsibility. You understand? We have a responsibility, as the young man said, we're the gatekeepers. But if I say, yeah, you can hit raw, it then becomes your responsibility to say, nah, I think we need to be protected. Somebody listen, somebody should have common sense. For me, I'm going to say, because first of all, I don't want anything. So that's going to be my first, because I can't get pregnant.
Jackie, you different. I'm talking about.
But I'm saying it's not like I never fucked raw. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying at this time, if I was out there dating, nobody would have the opportunity to hit raw. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
With the day and age that we live in.
But if you come to you as a woman who, pretty much, you're in a situation where and you guys dating for whenever time is okay for y'all to feel as though, you could have unprotected sex, whatever preliminary stuff you do,
right?
Go get tested, all that stuff. Let's take all of that. Let's take all that in consideration. Now, you as a woman, and I'm gonna ask how the women feel about this.
Mm-hmm.
You as a woman finally say, you know what? I love this guy. I want to feel him. I want to take it to the next level, honey. It's okay for us not to use condoms. And he goes, no, I want to keep on having, for whatever reasons, I want to continue to use condoms. How would you feel? Would you feel a certain way? And be honest, as a woman, yeah.
I guess it would.
As emotional creatures y'all are.
It may sting a bit, but I think at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, I have to respect that, because that's somebody that value their own life.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And perhaps I'm not valuing mine enough by allowing him to hit raw.
But let's say y'all get tested, all that stuff you do.
But then there's the incubator stage for
whatever.
HIV,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But
so
whatever the situation, you're ready to have. I mean, and this is a person you think you're gonna marry. This person's gonna. We're not in it for the short term.
right,
It's somebody
right,
that
right.
you could see yourself being with, eventually having babies with, and all this stuff, and y'all having sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to that point where you want to take it to another level, and he balks. You know, how
And
many
perhaps
women
maybe,
would feel the same
yeah, I
way?
think a lot of women will be offended. Perhaps too, in his mind, even though taking it to the next level, he may not quite be ready to have a child.
Yeah.
That's another thing that we have to consider.
But part of that is, and I'm sorry, but part of that is you have to follow. You can't just say no. You have to follow up with
You
a
do,
conversation.
yeah,
and say,
exactly. Why?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
why are you still continuing to use a condom?
Yeah.
If we're in a monogamous relationship.
Right, and that's what
That's
I'm saying.
if
Yup, in
we're
your
in,
mind,
because maybe in my mind we are, but maybe not for him.
Exactly.
You know, because
All questions
people
will come
show
up.
you signs. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not willing to go raw dog, as y'all men say, then I'm not the only one he's hitting.
That's what you would think. Yep,
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So let me ask y'all a question. Okay, so Billy says,
Hey, Billy.
what is a reasonable amount to support a child? And what point, when diapers, childcare, bottles are out of the picture, does that decrease so the child can have the same life with both parents? Now that they're older, the cost needed has gone down. But
But
now
has
both
it?
parents are more established and make more income, so the child support will go up. Everyone should pay monetary amounts need to be reasonable.
It's based upon your income. It's not really based upon the needs. Well, is it based on the lifestyle that you live in? Like
It's supposed to be based upon the income.
yeah, okay.
Which brings up the Tyrese
Yeah.
situation, because he was ordered to pay what?
Nice.
He paying
$13,000.
He paying $16,000 a month. Jesus, I see why he
it's
crying.
based on his income,
That's $200 to me and you. What are you talking about?
right?
Oh, what is it that you want from me?
Because what does he get paid? Like $10 million a film? No, he's not. He's right. So it's probably like $3 million.
But he working though. You know.
Yeah.
I think he's
He
part
did
of a
multiple-
franchise.
Yeah, he's
So
And
he's
doing
getting paid
CDs. So
on you know, like syndication and
Yeah, 'cause
you
that's
know
Black Rose.
movie
Yeah, I know.
sales,
Sure.
all of that. So
Sure.
$16,000 a month, that still seems high.
Yeah, to you and me, but that's what he was saying. But you know, I don't think he was complaining on the fact that he was.
I don't think it was the money. I think it was the allegations against him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
tough because that could hurt. You know.
And let me say
you know.
this for a lot of people that said he needs to man up, this, that, and the other. It's easy to sit back and criticize someone when you haven't walked a mile in their shoes. Does
Right.
it make him less of a man because he's crying? Hell no. And I really was offended by a lot of the men, oh, he needs to suck it up, he needs to do this. You're not in that man's shoes.
Yeah. I don't think he should have went on Instagram to be
Now,
honest.
I wouldn't have done
Yeah,
that. You know,
yeah,
I
okay,
definitely wouldn't have done that.
Only thing I suspect is it could be a publicity stunt.
He's an actor.
Because he wilding out. All the other stuff he's involved in, and he's always on Twitter and always on that. You know, I suspect his intentions, but that's my take on it. But let's say he was earnest and he did feel that particular way. I didn't think it was funny at all that people was clowning.
Yeah, I thought that. I said that. Are we that disconnected in this society that we can't show empathy? You know, when a man cried, does that make him less of a man? Hell no.
No.
Yeah, y'all say that.
But the thing about it is, you got it. Did you see all of them?
I didn't.
You gotta admit it was funny though.
Let me say this.
Especially Michael Blackson.
I don't look at stuff like that because I got my own shit going on. You understand? So
Michael
I
Blackson.
felt bad for him, but to look at this video or that video. People's circumstances are different, and I try not to get caught up in a lot of that mess.
Yeah.
I
don't feel sorry for him in that respect because he put himself out there.
Yeah.
He could have cried in his room in his house, but he cried in front of the world for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think
and now that's going.
And so he's
they made a remix of the man's song. They made a remix of the man's song. Michael Blackson says, Tyrese, I spoke to Gucci Man, Don Cheadle, and someone else, and we have decided that we're going to trade you.
Oh my God! Anyway, we done gave Tyrese way too much publicity. So let's get back to our topic. Like I said, we done gave him too much publicity. So moving right along. Did you have anybody put any topics out here? Hi, Lonnie.
Cry Reese.
They call him Cry Reese.
So, yeah, the child support thing. I think one thing that the guy brought up that I thought was pretty interesting because he was so adamant about.
Sound like he was mad.
It wasn't me, or did he have edge? He seemed like.
Yeah,
he was kind of angry.
Yeah, he was angry.
Sound like he was a little mad. The way y'all talking.
Oh my God! And I thought it was just me, but. He was angry.
Yeah, he was. He was in his feelings, and he was but and like I said, I was trying to, when I was trying to see what he was really, really saying, and trying to get to some of the points. It was a couple points that he made that I think that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
He was really looking at it like, okay, the woman, the man don't have any say whether or not you can have the kid. I mean, have the baby or not. It's a woman's choice.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie was saying, well, y'all agreed to conceive or to have sex without a condom, so it's better.
Knowing the consequences.
However, he was feeling that, okay, we both agree, so we both should have a say in it. But that's not going to ever be the case.
I understood it. However, my point is we both have to take responsibility. But again, if I'm taking it back to a woman's body, a man doesn't have a right to say, get rid of the baby. I think that we can have a discussion about it.
Let me tell you. I just believe that it's so cold if you tell a woman that. That's like you just got to be so cold to do that. I was in a situation where was intimate with a female. This was back in 2002, and I had the condom on, and all of a sudden, but she was like a female. Like I guess I was thinking with my dick and not with my head up here, because I was horny at the time, but she really wasn't all that good looking, But the thing about it is like I'm hitting it, and all of a sudden I'm like, it's just like something to do. Next thing you know, shit started getting good. I'm like, oh, okay. But then once it was done, and I not thinking it's starting to get good, stop, because the condom bust.
Okay.
So I'm like, it's getting good, and I done busted a nut. Next thing I know, I'm looking like, where's it? Oh no. And that rubber part, the thick part, that's still on. Everything else is gone. So I did the only logical thing I could do.
Got scared.
Threw her on the bed and was like, open your legs. We got to find it. And could not find it. We could have found out, she claimed that she was pregnant. So I said to her, listen, you not even working. I said, and I'm working. I said, but if we're going to do this, we need to do this together. Financially together. I don't think that we ready for a child. So, she wouldn't have an abortion.
And that's something that y'all had to.
They had to discuss.
Agree. Yeah, had to discuss,
Yeah.
and you had to agree, and I don't know, and like I said, people underestimate the emotional part.
That's true, exactly. I think it's easy for a man to suggest an abortion because he's not on the other side of that. I think that, a lot of women have problems conceiving after getting an abortion.
But what about the women? What about the women what about the men? What about the men that want the child? And the women say, no, I'm not having no kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they go and abort the child, but the man is like, why are you doing that? I want the child.
I think also when I know women that have had multiple abortions, I also believe that's irresponsible. How about just make a motherfucker put a condom on? Or how about you take birth control as opposed to, that you're able to conceive and you keep letting all these motherfuckers hit you raw with with the possibility that you can get pregnant.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what you call fertile myrtle.
Yeah, but
you stay away from her.
Shouldn't she be responsible? Shouldn't she require, a man to use a condom? And she should be on birth control.
Oh yeah. Billy says, my brother had a kid at 15. I had one at 20. I don't see how someone could ever walk away, including my adopted daughter's donor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if for every one man that feels that way, there's somebody else who don't even care.
Right, that's true. That's true.
I know somebody who got bless his heart, he's a nice guy. He got 18 kids.
Sheesh.
And I don't even know how many. I call him the father of our country.
Are you talking about DMX?
No. It was somebody I know personally. And he told me, when they call him, right, he got to go to the fridge and look at the pictures to know which one he's talking to.
Wow.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
deep.
Yeah, it's deep. It's really deep.
Yeah.
And I know he ain't completely in the system. You know what I mean?
Right.
However, it was one that he was taking care of because the mother was having some,
Mm-hmm.
so he was raising her, as a young, like she was a 5 or 6 year old,
Mm-hmm.
Really young, and he was that was his last one.
Okay.
But literally, he got 18 kids, and I was like, "Are you serious?"
Wow.
And been married all these many times, and this and that and that and the other, and I'm like, and I know he ain't in the system,
Mm-hmm.
I know he ain't paying child support.
Okay.
Some are doing well, some aren't. You know what I'm saying? But he said, "Man, I gotta," and that's deep.
That is.
So for every one man that feels that way, there's men on the other end who aren't taking care of their responsibility. For every one man that's hurting, there's a man that don't even know he got kids.
True. That is true.
And there's women out there who, it's like I know people personally who, single mom, never had any help. Never had any help from her baby daddy.
I'm trying to understand that part. Can you can a man really say that?
What?
That he didn't know he had kids?
Yeah.
Can a man really say that?
Yeah.
If you know, don't you know if you done busted a nut in a woman or not?
But it doesn't mean that every time you bust a nut, you don't fertilize an egg.
But if the woman get pregnant, she know that she's only done slept with you. Doesn't the woman call the man or reach out to him and say, "Hey"?
Some women don't.
That's if some women. Let's say it ain't a situation where y'all was exclusive. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that's irresponsible.
Yeah.
That's not look at Maury. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those women be talking. I mean, they are so sure that this is the father, and then the test come back and he's not. Oh, well, it may be Chim Chim and Michael or Kevin. They done named about 4 other people. So it's easy for a man to not know that, he has a baby by someone, especially if she was out there fucking multiple dudes.
That show be so funny.
And some women don't know they have kids. Okay.
Look at the eyebrows. The eyebrows, look at his chin. Look at his nose. You
With my
can't tell me
clown.
that's not you.
I'm
Trying to
coming
tell me
dressed
that.
as a clown. I'm just saying, goddamn it.
Oh
I
man!
mean, he took it far.
And the look on these guys' faces. You are the father.
Yeah,
But the ones that find out
deep.
that it ain't their kids,
Yep.
man, they ready to treat everybody in there to a bit.
Okay, you know, that's the thing. I just think that, you know, people need to be more responsible because there are innocent children involved in the mix. And you take a guy on a show like Maury, and you got about 10 other guys that could possibly had, you know, conceived with you. I think that's irresponsible as a woman.
It's also embarrassing.
It's very
He
embarrassing.
went on national TV.
Well, they want to be seen, you know. I think if it was me and I was out there like that, there's no way in hell I would go onto a show like Maury and make an ass of myself. Are you kidding?
Would you go on Maury?
I wouldn't go on none of them.
Exactly.
Maury only got 3 shows: 300-pound 2-year-olds, drag queens, and
And that's
Who's
true.
the Daddy.
Yeah, exactly.
He used to be such a respectful. He was like up there with Oprah with having real shows, and then he just went.
But
Jerry
he
Springer on everybody.
he couldn't fit into that mold, and I guess he felt like, oh, why do I have to fit into the Oprah mold? My wife is Connie Chung. She's serious enough. I don't have to.
I know.
You know what I'm
Damn,
saying?
really?
Yeah.
Where you been, man?
Hey, Candy.
Hell no.
Thanks for joining me tonight.
Damn.
Yeah.
I did not know
Hey,
that.
Kathy. Hey, Kathy.
Connie Chung.
Yeah. So.
He doing good.
Yeah, he don't need to.
Yeah. I mean, he can do a Jerry Springer type show.
But it produces so many ratings
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. Sensational
And
TV.
he's
That's what it was.
smiling all the way to the bank.
All the way to the bank.
Yeah, there's no longer a Jerry Springer show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that still comes on.
Yeah.
Jerry Springer?
Yeah.
He stopped.
Yes.
Syndicate.
Is it
Yes.
reruns? Because I don't think he's doing new shows. Because Steve now has a show.
Yeah,
Wilco's.
I think,
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know who took his place because it was always that. Yeah, Jerry Springer was a joke. I saw some guys in the barbershop who was on Jerry Springer. They were 2 twins who was fighting over a girl. And I was like, they said celebrities. It was like, yeah, y'all the 2 boys that was fighting over that girl. He said, man, they met that girl 20 minutes before the show.
I believe it.
20 minutes before the show.
Yeah, I believe it.
Okay. Oh, let's get back. I'm sorry. We got
Yeah,
left
because hi Jason. So are we closing out the child support segment? You got any?
No.
We're done.
Not yet.
We're not done yet.
No, we are
Okay.
closed.
But I think what I learned is
See.
that, I'm just saying
He's just
we
wrapping
could
it
appeal.
up.
We could appeal. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because I really don't think the system is set up fairly, but it's necessary.
It's necessary,
It's
definitely.
necessary. So you got some good people that's caught up in the red tape and caught up in the wash.
Right.
But I think it's probably doing more.
It's
in
probably
my
about a 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people will think that it's doing more harm to the community and this and that, but there's a situation.
Right.
'Cause that's what he was saying. He was saying.
I mean, he was very
it's
angry
designed,
about
it's designed
that.
to separate,
Yeah.
the family unit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Because
If you ever go to Google and look up Baltimore City child support, Charles Street, you know how when you go on Google, you ask to look up certain things and the picture comes up of it. You know what picture comes up when you?
Yours.
your driver's license.
My bad.
Just look like this.
Okay.
No, a picture of hell.
What?
A picture of hell.
What does hell look like?
Yeah.
You'll see it on there.
Okay.
You'll see it on there.
Lying.
You should hear the ratings.
I
You
think,
should
you
hear the
know,
ratings.
again, when it comes down to child support, men, you all have to take responsibility. Do your research. If you're not happy with the outcome of your case, start reading up so that you can then petition the court and fight for your own rights. I think, you know, a lot of times people get caught up in the financial side, but there's also a system put in place to protect your rights as well. When that woman decides that you can't come see your child and you up to date on your child support payments, then you need to petition the court.
Even if you ain't up to date, but you know they're taking out your check, you still got a right to say
You
it.
still have a right. You know, you got to exercise your right. Don't let the system dictate, you know, the terms to you. You have to start being proactive and knowing your rights, because you do have them. So we're closing out the child support segment. It was another thing we talked about at that show. We're probably going to have a show on alternative lifestyles.
Yeah. Right.
Because there was a lot said that was pretty interesting to me. And I think it's interesting when you have two people that come together and maybe one may have never had an experience with the person of the same sex, and yet you fall in love with somebody. Don't give me that look. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it was a couple there.
Yeah.
It was really a beautiful.
Yeah, they were. I enjoyed talking to them.
Yeah.
So, I want to have them on the show soon. So yeah.
Yeah.
They were deep, you know. I mean, which that same person had something to say about that too. I mean, he was perhaps maybe he's not getting laid enough.
Oh, you're talking about the angry professor?
Yeah, he knew some things.
Man, I don't know. He was dropping some really deep stuff.
But
that I'm researching. But
it's so
you know
funny. I had him when he brought up the Egyptians' Book of Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, well, since we're talking about that, you do know 80% of Egyptian men are bisexual. He didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I'm like, if you're going to start quoting things, because I read a lot, you got to be able to back that shit up.
Yeah.
I am a numbers person.
Don't just say it with conviction, because he was saying it with conviction.
Because he figured nobody knew.
Yeah, nobody had time to research.
Yeah.
But he also said that monogamy was a concept that's more recent than historic. Like, it only came up within the last 300 years. You know, like going back through, let's say, African tribes. Men had more than one wife. You know, going back to biblical times, a lot of men had more than one wife.
They did.
You know, so it was a concept that was created fairly recent. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Now, I can go with him on that, because if you think about those times, a lot of the men did have more than one wife. Even in today's society, when you look at the Muslims, they're still permitted to have 4 wives.
As long as they're able to support them.
Exactly. Now, that's the thing where it gets interesting. If they are not able to support and, I guess, equally love those, they are not permitted to have another wife.
And then the first wife has to approve.
Right, exactly.
Subsequent. So it's a few rules of that.
Yeah. So, I thought that, you know, people can be experts at whatever, but at some point you got to be able to back those facts up. Like, I won't discuss something that I'm not sure of.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make an ass of myself. You understand? So when I talk about something, I know about it. You know, a couple of things he said that I was like, no. But when you are speaking with conviction and you figure there's nobody that's going to check you on it, you can come across as an expert. To bring up the Egyptian Book of the Dead, well, you know, your information wasn't quite accurate.
Okay, but who composed the Egyptian Book of the Dead? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Check that source.
Exactly.
You know, and check any source that just because it's in a book, it doesn't mean it's
it doesn't make it true. Right. There's a lot of stuff in the Bible that's not necessarily true because it's been written multiple times. There are multiple books omitted from the book in order to have society follow this little neat box, you know, that they came up with. You know, so, yeah, I always say the Bible is used as a guide for us to live better.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my take on it. I don't want to get all philosophical and shit. I done got hot. So
I'm glad you did.
I'm just
I'm
saying,
cold as
I mean, I'm always hot. I think that we owe it to ourselves to do our own research, especially when we do a show like this. We have to know what we're talking about.
True. Because
you know,
it takes a lot of responsibility.
It does.
With the information, and sometimes we have to, you know, I think as journalists, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to really. You have to filter it and because it's a responsibility.
It is. We have a huge
you never
responsibility.
You never know what your impact is.
Yeah, absolutely.
People, you know.
Hello, my beautiful Demetrius. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Claudie.
Summer, brother. Do you plan on beating some drums now?
Oh, okay.
What time is it? Yeah.
Okay, let me set up.
Well, we're going to, the Quiet Storm is going to set up so he can serenade us with some music. It got hot real fast, man.
No.
You're cold?
I'm chilly.
I was going to wear like a sweater, and I said, hell no, because I'm going to be burning up in there. I left my coat in the car because I figured it was going to be hot here. Let me ask you a question while he's setting up. I'm trying to word this correctly.
Coming up.
I'm going to come out with it. Now, last week I made a joke talking about your, shut up, Mike, don't come for me.
Yeah.
We were talking about, he's always lurking. So I made a joke last week about your boobs. But the first thing you said when we were talking about your whole bag, and you said, yeah, I want a woman to suck on my chest. Is that your hot spot? I'm only asking because you brought it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your hot spot, Richard?
My nipples.
Okay. That's funny because a lot of men, I realize that is, their hot spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah. It's
Their nipples.
Oh, man, chest, man.
Oh, so I said what?
You said
What
nipples.
comes? What
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was answering. I just came in.
And then nipples just was the first thing that come to mind. Some kind of freak you are, man. So.
Yo, he said he like it when his wife
Take the feather and run over his nipples.
hit the B and the S.
So Jason says.
You know what I like? When my wife come in there with a slip and I'll be like, what's that? You paid my car note? Come here, girl.
Oh my God. Jason says that's why relationships should be a business relationship. When you get in business with someone, you can't bring in another person without the team agreeing first